I'm pretty sure I'm going to ask all these questions. It'll be the last time I'm invited onto a Spaces, but here goes nothing. The check mark used to stand for something. Now, anyone that pays $8 a month can get the check mark. What's the process by which accounts are verified in this new world?
Well, it is someone has to have a phone and a credit card and $8 a month. So that's the bar. However, we will actively suspend accounts engaged in deception or trickery of any kind. So it is a leveling of the playing field here. It will be less special, obviously, to have a check mark. But I think this is a good thing.
He thinks it's a good thing. He just doesn't know why he thinks it's a good thing. He also probably doesn't know what the sentence he just said before that, because he doesn't think very deeply. Elon Musk was participating in this live conference call with a few Twitter users, and one of them asked a very basic question: what exactly is the point of these blue checks anymore? Outside of the fact that it's a signal that you decide to pay $8 a month, you have a credit card, a phone, and $8 a month. Apparently that's all you need. In fact, completely missing the whole point of that. Maybe he wants to implement a way to just make some of this money back that he horribly put together to get inside of this deal that now he wishes he had never done. Here's the first ever email that he sent to his employees. This has been a few weeks of him owning the company, but this is the first email, and it's not looking that good. Here we go. He says, sorry, this is my first email to the whole company, but there's no way to sugarcoat the message. I'm Elon Musk, I think is the message that you're trying to sugarcoat. Frankly, the economic picture ahead is dire, especially for a company like ours that is so dependent on advertising in a challenging economic climate. Moreover, 70% of our advertising is brand rather than specific performance, which makes us doubly vulnerable. What makes us triply vulnerable is me. How does he plan to fix this whole situation with their economic problems? These blue checks. That's why the priority over the past 10 days has been to develop and launch Twitter Blue verified subscriptions. Huge props to the team, by the way, that I threatened. Without significant subscription revenue, there's a good chance Twitter will not survive the upcoming economic downturn. We need roughly half of our revenue to be subscription. But there's more. We need this, we need half of this to be subscription. We're changing over everything. And also, by the way, here's more. The road ahead is arduous and will require intense work to succeed. We're also changing Twitter policy such that remote work is no longer allowed unless you have specific exemption. Managers will send the exemptions lists to me for review and approval. Starting tomorrow, which was yesterday now, everyone is required to be in the office for a minimum of 40 hours a week. And obviously, if you're physically unable to travel to an office or have a critical personal obligation, then your absence is understandable. The BNO News Live posted that video over the maybe a couple days ago, and Elon Musk responded with laughing emojis, because that's funny. Watching one of the things that is part of your company breaking through and malfunctioning and killing people, so funny. He later apparently deleted that tweet, or maybe he'll blame it on some parody account. Who knows? Anyway, it goes. On top of this, just to point out the mindset of Elon Musk as horrible things like this happen. He also got into a fight with Senator Ed Markey over the weekend, more about the Twitter issues, but then Markey comes back and brings it back to this whole car thing. I'm gonna go through this little fight here because I thought this was tasty. Ed Markey points this out. He says, a Washington Post reporter was able to create a verified account impersonating me. I'm asking for answers from Elon Musk, who's putting profits over people and his debt over stopping disinformation. Twitter must explain how this happened and how to prevent it from happening again. No name calling. I don't think there was that much disrespect. It was just like, you have to fix this, because what you're doing is you're putting all this over reality of what we're seeing in front of our faces. Yeah, it was tough, but I think you can take it. Apparently Elon Musk couldn't take it because this was his response. Perhaps it's because your real account sounds like a parody. You're so funny. So Markey responds with something that's not so funny. He says, one of your companies is under an FTC consent decree. Auto safety watchdog NHTSA is investigating another for killing people. And you're spending your time picking fights online. Fix your companies or Congress will. From that point, we didn't see or hear too much more from Elon Musk on that conversation, but there were some, some sycophants that decided to try and say Ed Markey's coming after him because people were killed by his cars and he's just starting fights on his new toy. Fine, be mad about it. So before we get to more details, first of all, this crash, Elon Musk running these companies, I feel like last week we were just talking about the lack of real ingenuity, credit people should receive when billionaires just kind of inherit things like their money and then maybe a few companies and say, I'm the best ever. But when things start going off the rails, they kind of don't know what to do, Jessica.
If there's anybody I would avoid picking a fight with online, it's Ed Markey. Ed Markey's got a team that's really good at using the internet. Not only that, he's quite good at his job as a US Senator, holding people like Elon Musk accountable. I think it's ridiculous he replied back with laughing emojis, and I think it's even funnier that this video, initially, people were posting like crazy saying, this video keeps getting taken down when I post it. And finally, Elon was like, well, I can't avoid it, so I'm just gonna laugh it off. That's the solution. Instead of responding about the concerns. This is his company. Not to mention, he leveraged the loans he took out to purchase Twitter with his Tesla stock. The loans are backed by Tesla stock. Amplifying videos like this is going to tank Tesla stock and make his debt even less likely to be paid off. So crazy situation. But I think, I want to talk about what could have gone wrong here in the mechanics of the car, but we'll get into that in a second.
Let's get into that right now. Because Tesla denied any wrongdoing, and also they put out a statement about this brake. They said the brake lights were off. Let's go to some reality. Data taken from the car showed no proof that the brake pedal had been applied before that crash, and video showed that the brake lights remained off, the electric car maker said in a statement. Instead, the accelerator was heavily engaged in the lead up to the accident, which killed a motorcyclist and a high school student on a bicycle. Tesla said it will, quote, actively provide any necessary aid to the local police probe, which may involve a third-party investigator. They're gonna participate, but there was no wrongdoing apparently. Anyway, there's more of the details that led up to this whole thing. So a verified user on the Chinese Twitter-like platform Weibo posted under the title of a family member of the driver. And that person claimed that the driver lost control for the last 2.6 kilometers. And though he tried to apply the brakes, a technical problem must have caused the accident. Now again, that driver, identified by his surname Zan, he's 55 years old, gave an interview about what happened and led up to it as well. Because he was inside this car, it's going crazy. He said, I felt the car was malfunctioning, so I pressed the park button, but it began to accelerate. Zahn was quoted as saying, suddenly I was racing ahead and I tried the brakes repeatedly. There were others on the road. A motorcycle was ahead of me, so I swerved the steering wheel. Because I was a truck driver, I knew what to do if ever my brakes failed on a slope. So after I lost control of the car, I immediately began searching for an obstacle to crash into. That's terrifying. He says, I continued to try the brakes to see whether they would start working and stop the car. I was thinking about where to crash, but my reactions couldn't keep up with the speed. One more headline here, because Tesla, this isn't the first time we've seen Teslas go out of control, or their functions, their automatic functions just don't really work the way that they were advertised to work. From Bloomberg, Tesla also takes customers to court to silence their critics in China. So in addition to what you're talking about, Burbank, with them taking down this video so it won't hurt his stock, he also wants to take the customers to court so they won't have any of these stories to tell about what happened in the cars that they purchased with real money from him.
So this is why I like old-fashioned cars. I drive a really old car, nothing's electronic. If I hit the brakes, it's my foot going on the pedal and the brake pads being engaged. There's no computer telling the brake pads to stop the tires from spinning. Same thing with the transmission. I drove a new car, a rental, and the transmission was a dial. It was like a spaceship. I was like, I just don't trust this. Because if the electronics in this vehicle are malfunctioning, why would you trust what the records are of when the brake was engaged and when the accelerator was engaged? If the car is malfunctioning and the car runs on some kind of computer, would you expect it to accurately record what the driver was doing in the car? I mean, this takes just a little bit of critical thinking to realize Tesla is covering their own behind by telling this story about what went down. I don't believe these cars are safe. I think they've rushed into production when the technology for the cars that controls it, not only when you're in self-driving mode, when the car's driving itself, in other cars, there are precautions, like your hands need to be on the wheel. And those cars are much more confident in their self-driving technology than Teslas are, where you don't have to have your hands on the wheel. So Tesla's really really always gotten 10 steps ahead of themselves and promised more than they could ever deliver. And people's lives are on the line. And instead of doing the right thing and owning up to this and trying to figure out what went wrong, of course, a company run by Elon Musk is doing the bad thing and denying what's gone wrong and not doing anything to correct it.
The thing is, that's what I was thinking. You can have a way maybe to address this in a certain way to possibly even fix it if you care about your consumers, if you care about honestly, the livelihood of your company. Only if you think the livelihood of your company is based off of people still wanting to buy your garbage. But if you don't care, you think people are gonna have to pay me no matter what. Sounds like shades of the way he's approaching Twitter. You gotta pay it. No, they don't. And they probably won't either. One other part about this. So you said they rushed into production with Tesla, and that's why they had these issues. Look at the way he's also approaching Twitter, rushing things into get it done by next Tuesday or else you're all fired. He has no idea how it works. He has no idea the complications involved in it, but just get it done or you're gone. More people are gone. What is that doing for the product? He's forgetting about the product part because he's never had to care about actually doing something well. He just has to put it out there and say, it was me. We're learning in real time just how devastatingly incompetent this guy is. And everything he's got can't be based off anything he thought through.